And we're back, folks. I had to pee. He had to pee. We're all good. So moving on is I find that after Buffalo, though, you do somehow get back with the Toronto organization, but you don't play that much that season. Did you get hurt or what happened there?
Yeah, so trying to think of that when my second surgery was, because I had a second sports hernia surgery.
A second one in the same place, like with the same mesh, like they put the mesh on? I had that one.
The first, or did you? Yeah, it's common hockey injury, but I had the first one on I think the right side, and then the second time I had it would have been, I had signed with Toronto, back with Toronto, because my groins were getting worse, and they never were great, probably throughout my whole career, actually. But
they probably didn't have the shorts and like the tight things that can hold it together like they do nowadays, right?
Yeah, it's different. The technology on everything absolutely is different. And then I ended up having surgery on both sides of my sports hernia. So it was that year that I had signed with them, and then it was off a lot of the season, because back then it was a 3 to 4 month process, for you to get back to actually playing again. So it was probably that summer, and then signed with them. And then they said, I was getting a little older, I was probably 27-ish, around there maybe. And, they said, we'll sign you. We're not sure, where we'll have a spot for you, but you have an opportunity. So I said, great. So then I signed, and then they said, okay, we're going to send you to the minors. And the minors were the Rock, which was Newfoundland, or they said, we can send you to the IHL. So I'm later in my career, I'm like, okay, well, IHL. I said, all right, send me to Orlando, right? Let's go to a sunny location or whatever, right?
So does that mean you get less call-ups if you take that route then?
No. Yeah, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. You just go wherever.
Yeah, because it was comparable league. I think actually, absolutely, the IHL was a better league than the American League back then when it was going. And then they said, well, we have an affiliation with Chicago. We're going to send a couple of you older veterans to Chicago. And I'm like, all right. Not the climate I was hoping for, as opposed to Orlando or whatever. But so I said, okay, great. And we went there, and ownership is phenomenal. Still the same guys. My son plays against them, and I go. We went to watch him play, and I'm sitting in the owner's box with Don Levin and Buddy Myers, just great people to today. Can't say enough about them. And they built a championship team, a championship environment from the top down, bottom up, the whole deal. Trainers, the trainer still calls me. I still call him every once in a while. Just great organization. And Kevin Shoveldayoff, who's obviously with Winnipeg now and doing some really good work there, was our GM. We had some NHL veteran guys. I mean, our team was laden with NHL former NHL guys, and we had a lot of success. We won the Turner Cup in 98, and then again in 2000. Again, played with some really great players.
You're with the Leafs through that?
The first 2 years I was belonged to them, and then I was probably more of a somebody could be there for a call up, if needed, and a reliable guy, know what they're getting, kind of thing, as an older guy. But I was real happy in Chicago and getting paid well and having a great time. Obviously, we had a phenomenal team, and we're winning all the time, and great environment. The Chicago rink would probably had 10,000 fans every game. Playoffs, we'd sell out. We had more fans than the Hawks did back in those days. We were a better draw than they were. We were that good.
One thing I would like to say is, when you say you were in the owner's box when your son's playing, and the guy built a championship team from the top down, like that's what happened in Cardiff where I played. This guy did that, Todd Kelman. He was an earlier episode, but when people can do that and they remember the players that played for them and remember what they did for them, and when you come back and they do that for you, you won 2 championships. Yes, it was a long time ago, but it's still, you're still part of the whole thing, right? Winning championships doesn't happen every day, but when you have people like that, then you win, right?
No, absolutely. And they create environments where they want everybody to be successful, and they do whatever it takes for the team and the individuals to be successful. Set up your family, set up whatever you need for anything off ice, your homes, your workouts, whatever it may be. They spare no expense to make that happen, and you feel it. You want to go harder for them. You want to do whatever you can above and beyond, like they're doing for you. And
Kind of
that's
like the
what creates an
Atlanta roller
environment.
hockey team,
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's why we're so successful.
right?
JB, John.
Yeah, yeah, well, for sure.
Right on.
Like that's why I want to give her, but yeah, like,
Yeah.
but like it's the same in Cardiff. It was the same like for a UK team, like it's not the same level, but
No matter.
they it was the same thing. Exactly what you're saying. It was the
Yes.
exact same thing. I lived it. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden I watched this team go from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the mountain, and they've stayed there. And it's because of how they treat people and how they
Yeah.
dot every I, they cross every T. You go in
Yeah.
there, your kids have what they need. The fridge is stocked. Like they
Yeah.
care about you, right?
Yeah. And that atmosphere gets talked about amongst players on other teams, and they know that that's a place you want to be. That's a place you want to play, and that's what they've created there, still to this day.
Yeah, and they still win. Yeah, like and
Yeah.
that was back when I became a pro. They were the team everybody wanted to play for.
Yeah.
And it's still the same owners all the way through that?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Same guys. Yeah. No, for example, like last year, they obviously lockout year, but they combined, I think it was Milwaukee's team, so whatever, Vegas and somebody else, Carolina, I think it was. They took the best players from both teams, so they had a hell of a team. Again, spare no expense, do whatever they have to win. And there wasn't even any playoffs this year in that league, so just goes to show you what they will do to make that happen. And they did that for us those years. Like I say, they brought in guys that would have been hard to get and from other organizations, and it didn't matter what the parent team or who they were signed with. They wanted good players, and they went out and did it,
And
as you can see by the roster.
And how much more fun it like, because obviously I guess you hadn't won until that point, right? And you're near the end, you hadn't won yet,
Yeah.
right? And when
No.
I see that picture that you asked to get on the poster that I didn't have off Google was
Oh, yeah.
like when you see that picture though, and I've won some stuff, right? Not just roller hockey, I've won a few other leagues.
Yeah.
But like when you are holding that trophy and like what you see it does to a town, a city, the people around the team, your teammates, the wives, the kids, everybody. Like when you
Absolutely.
win something, it is the best time ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's your ultimate goal, right? That's why we play. That's why we played to ultimately win the championship. Every year you play, you don't start the season thinking I'm just gonna hopefully have good stats this year or whatever. You ultimately want to win the championship and do whatever it takes in order to get to that pinnacle. And fortunately, I was able to do that 2 out of my 3 years with Chicago. And and any hockey player who's not in it for that every year is playing the wrong sport for sure. And like I say, it was very fortunate to be a part of that for 2 championships.
Yeah, no, winning's the best
The ultimate
time
goal,
ever.
right?
It really is. And like it is. But so okay. After that and winning this is when you you finally come over to where I was most of my time is you're going to
Yes.
the Essen Mosquitoes.
That's right.
The Mosquitoes.
Yeah, I know, quite the name, huh? I don't know if they're still called that, but I hope not.
Well, so when I went to Germany, they were in the second league, and
Okay.
I've played in the rink, I've been to the town, but
Okay,
then
yeah.
they went bankrupt after that year and went
Oh, is that
down
right?
to
Oh, I didn't know that. That's too bad. Okay,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
no,
that
but I
stuff
remember.
happens over there.
Yeah, so I had a choice to sign here in the US with Chicago again, or go overseas and just get that experience in, and financially it was a better opportunity too. So decided to go and try that. And that was one of my favorite hockey times was going there. I'll never forget, because I got there late in the summer, so I missed kind of their training camp and whatever. And they, as you know, with having played there, I mean, the warm ups, so it was a full barn with people waving their flags and everybody's drunk in the stands. And I'm like, this is warm up here. This is crazy. So we had some good laughs and good memories there during that time. We had a pretty good team. And they did that, the kind of the hierarchy of the team is how they'd announce the lineup. So we had Hasek was on our team, so he'd always be the first guy introduced. No, sorry, he'd be the last guy. We'd go down the ranks, kind of the youngest guy or whatever to the most, senior. And
it wasn't by the number
decorated guy. No, it was the most decorated guy.
So where did you get to go?
Well, I was fortunate to be
second last
near the end. Yeah, I was one of those guys near the end, but he was always the last for sure. I mean, when
Tikkanen was on your team, eh?
Yeah. We had a bunch of Canadians. I think we had you could max out at like 15 imports, and we probably had 12 Canadians on the team. So a lot of guys that I'd probably previously played junior with or in the minors with here and there, and knew of them. So it didn't feel like a German experience, besides, when you go out to dinner and have to talk German. Otherwise, you're in the dressing room talking English. We had a Canadian coach too, which made that transition a lot easier too.
Yeah, like when I went over to Germany in the second league, the coach didn't speak English. Like the only time he did is when I had my one meeting with him the whole year.
Okay.
I had one meeting and he spoke English, and I was like, oh, so you actually can? And the rest of the year it was German.
Is that right? Okay. Yeah, that makes it tough, especially if you're not in an environment where there's a lot of other guys you can speak English to, of course, right?
Wow, it can sprechen ein bisschen Deutsch now, right? So
that's
fine.
There you go.
Yeah. No, I had to adapt.
Yeah, no doubt.
No, it's really cool you got that experience though, right? Because if you don't go over there, like, you don't really see that side of the world, right? Like for now in my life, when do I go to Europe?
Yeah, well, exactly. And unfortunately, like, I'd signed to go back to play in Frankfurt the next year, which was one of the best teams in that league after me understanding the league and understanding how it all worked. So they signed me. Actually, I signed. But then I was still going through my groin problems, and I said, look, let me go home and train in the summer and see how I feel. And if I'm planning on playing, but if I'm not feeling good, I'll let you know. And I trained hard and came early August, and I was like, you know what? I can't play another season. I was already missing 2 practices a week the year before and whatnot. So I didn't feel it was fair to the team or myself to do that, or so
it's hard with your teammates when you're like, I can't practice like twice a week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show up for the games. It's hard, right? Like I was at that point at the end.
No, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I wasn't that kind of player. I wanted to not miss a thing and be the leader.
You want to be part of the boys.
First guy on the ice, last guy off. That was kind of who I was throughout my career, and I wasn't able to do that near the end. So I was like, it's time.
Yeah, no. So you did say it was time.
Yeah.
So, and you did like Essen, which it wasn't the nicest town, was it?
No, but I didn't know any different, right? So
I got you. You only played there 1 year, yeah. You wouldn't know what like the nice towns in Germany are like.
No, and back to my comment earlier about just making the best of whatever situation I was dealt with, and that's kind of what I did, and I enjoyed it. I have very fond memories of my time there for sure. I'd love to go back someday and visit.
Well, the only other question I got for you then is you took 5 years off, and then you decided to play one game for the Gwinnett Gladiators, I think they're called, in the East Coast. So this is after 5 years off. What goes on in that game?
So
are you going out to fight somebody?
No, yeah. Wanted to see if I could play in 4 decades like Gordie Howe or whatever it was. No. So I was coaching here, and the Gwinnett team is East Coast Hockey League, and I knew the coach Jeff Pyle, I knew the manager too, Steve Chapman, and great guys. And they had some guys hurt, and I was playing, in that morning hockey, like I told you, and obviously play at a good pace and whatever, so I probably could still hang pretty good. And but I was only playing twice a week, so I was able to kind of do that. And so they were down a couple of guys going into a weekend, and then Chapman, the GM, calls me and he goes, Pierce, he says, you know what, we're down a couple of guys. He says, would you consider coming and playing for us this weekend? We know we're going to need guys for sure, or at least a guy on a Friday night. So anyways, I thought about it, talked to my kids and said, and they're like, oh yeah, go play, Dad, whatever. And I was coaching my son at the time, and he's like, yeah, go please. So I ended up going and suited up, and 10 forwards in the 6D is how the East Coast League works, right? So I go in, and Jeff Pyle's the coach, and I say, I said, put me as a 10th forward. I said, you don't have to play, just happy to help you guys out, kind of thing. And he goes, no, Pierce. He goes, you're my second line, right or left winger. You're one of my best players. You're going to play a ton. And I'm like, okay, buddy. I said, that's up to you, but I'll do what I can, but don't expect too much. But anyways, I had a good time doing it. And looking back, I'm kind of glad I did it. And it is funny to see that on the stats, right? Show like 5 years go by, and it's like, what the heck what was he doing there? So that's kind of that story.
No, that's awesome. That's cool. You did that. Like, honestly, yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be fun to see if you can still hang, right? Like,
yeah, you kind of like, as you know, right? You want to always see what kind of pace you can still play at, and even to this day, could I still hang with the 50 and 60-year-olds? I think I still can, but
yeah, I'm not.
40-year-olds, I've had a lot more trouble.
I'm not getting around too well anymore, but because this is I usually, like, on this podcast, I like chirp the guys because they're my buddies. But like,
okay.
one thing I'm gonna say, because it's a podcast and like I sometimes am nice, is like the success you had in your life, and the success we had as a roller hockey team, like, it's because you seem like a good dude. Like, you seem like a good team.
Thanks, man.
You seem like you seem like a guy that I'd want to be on a team with. And like, if we went to war, I would know you're gonna do your part and I'll do my part.
Absolutely.
And like, I played a different game than you, but like, we're both gonna do our part and we're gonna be in it,
No question, Wally. That's what teammates do, right? Back each other up. You play the role. You do what you have to for your team to be successful, and that's how you played, and that's how I played, and that's my work ethic and has brought me into what I've been doing the last 20 years. And
well, that's what the other thing I wanted to say was why you're so successful now, in what you're doing, and like, you're in Atlanta, you got a place in Cornwall, you're doing well, and it's because of your work ethic. It's because you're a teammate. It's because you're an intelligent guy. And you know what? Like, I could see that back in the day when I was a young buck playing roller hockey for you, and that's why I wanted to have you on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think that's something you gotta always be like in life. If you're a good teammate and a good guy on the ice, you'd be the same off the ice. And that's what I try to be with my company, and try to be a good example, and my family, and, just for all my 4 kids and my wife, we have a real strong bond, strong family. And that's the way you got to live day by day and be a good example. And that's what I try to do. That's how I try to live.
Well, no, and you are, and you were for me back in the day. And like, it was a fun summer, and I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing these stories. And I'm sorry I was such a super fan today, because like, it's not every day that I get to ask about all those heroes of my childhood, I guess. Right?
They're heroes of mine too, Wally, and brought back really great memories to be able to kind of turn the clock back and go back. In my mind, you kind of triggered some different things and things you would ask and things you would say. So it was really fun for me, and I really have enjoyed it. And I definitely, happy to do do it any other time you'd want, but that was really, really nice experience. And it was really good catching up with you, and I'm glad you're doing great.
Yeah,
And your
man.
family
No,
as well, as we talked about before.
yeah, no, I'm glad I'm back in the game, and this has me back in the game. Like, I'm talking to you,
Awesome.
I'm talking to all these people. I'm finding out about your son. Like, if I wasn't doing this, I
Yeah,
wouldn't know any of this. I would
sure.
I'd still be sitting here going, well, what do I do tonight? Do I walk the dog? Like, what? Yeah, do I want, what do I do? But now I know what everybody's doing, and it just, it's what I want to do. And thank you so much for making the time.
Good for you. You're doing a great job, Wally, and I wish you all the best with all this, man.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna have to have your son on someday too, but
I'm sure he'd
this is
love
a
to do it.
PG-13 thing. We'll never get anybody in trouble. And
Okay.
this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with my roller hockey coach and Wally.